thumbs up, please.
You got us back there?
Oh, wonderful.
About this side.
All right. So they got us. All right. So hi everybody. I'm Brandyn Neal, and this is Bill Arfaras. So we are the co-presidents of the Garage here on campus, which is, for those of you that don't know, an entrepreneurial and innovation center. And so what we do there is we really start early with our students and educating them on the process of becoming an entrepreneur and just giving them opportunities that a lot of students wouldn't usually have. So one of the coolest things that we've been able to do since we took that space over was actually host a Shark Tank event last semester. So it mimicked the show pretty closely. We got 5 sharks and we actually were able to pull together $5,000 to offer to our students. And so we had 14 different students compete for that money. And we had 2 students that actually won. And since then they've gone on to start their businesses. So that was a really cool opportunity that we were able to host at the Garage. So that's why we've been asked to be here. But today we want to talk to you guys about finding your passions. And so I think the most effective way to kind of relay that message is to tell you guys about ours and how we got to them. So I'm going to start with mine, and my passion is personal finance. And I'm going to take you guys back to when I was about 7 or 8 years old. So I was in the car with my mom, not sure where my sister was, but I said, "Mom, I'm hungry." And she goes, "Okay." So we continue driving, and we stop at the pawn shop, and she goes and pawns her earrings so I can eat. And when you're 7 or 8, you don't necessarily think about those things, but it's something that stuck with me for a long time. So that was like the seed that was embedded and made me start thinking about personal finance. So my mom didn't get off to the greatest start. She had my sister when she was 19, me when she was 20. She was bankrupt at age 20 as well. So I knew I never wanted to be in that situation. But it didn't really start manifesting itself for another 8 years or so. When I was 16, I had hip surgery. And so I'd always been an athlete, but that kind of humanized me, and I realized, all right, I can't do this forever. So I'm laying in bed for 3 weeks, can't move. I started asking myself, what else do I care about? Like, what else do I really want to do? And that was when personal finance manifested itself once again. So I started educating myself and started really trying to understand the intricacies of the personal finance world, and then took that next step my freshman year of college. So I was in this very building studying for finals, and I got bored. I was like, all right, I don't really want to study anymore. So I think I did what any college student would do. I decided to write a book. So I did that. 6 or 7 months later, I had it published, and that was awesome. I was riding a high. I was like, wow, I just published a book. And then I was like, well, that's cool, but like, what do I want to do now? I want to continue helping people, but like, what's the next step? So I was thinking about it, and I decided to start a blog. And that's actually the stickers that you guys have on your tables today, Freedom Well. So it started out just me writing content and posting once a week, entrepreneurship and personal finance information. And since then, it's grown quite a bit. We've actually brought on another team member, and we've moved into both video and audio content. And we also have social accounts that are on the stickers. So it's been a really cool way to kind of explore my passions and capitalize on what I found to love as personal finance. So we're also doing cool things like speaking engagements, and I'm actually preparing to teach a class here at Walsh in the spring over money management. So it's been an awesome experience, and I want to turn it over to Bill now so he can tell you about how he found his passions and what it is.
Thank you, Brandon. I don't have a cool microphone like him, so I'm going to stand over here. I have to encourage all of you to check out his website. He does have a lot of great content out there, and there's a lot to learn from it. I'm an entrepreneur similar to Mike Brandon. I'm the proud owner of First Choice Web Solution. We're a printing company based out of Youngstown, Ohio. I've also obtained a patent pending, and at one point I managed 11 vending machines. When I was asked to give this presentation, I really put a lot of thought to where did it originate for me. I know I love doing what I do. I get very excited when I have to go meet with a customer, produce a product, or try to market my company in a different way. But at what point did I actually find that this is what I was passionate about? It's kind of a funny story, but I kind of concluded that it happened when I was in the principal's office in the 1st grade. The story goes that I just got back from spring break, and I found a couple of shark teeth that washed up on the beach. I brought it back to school, and I had the great idea that I could sell these for $5 a piece. Before I knew it, I had a business, And it wasn't long till Mrs. Hartshorn, my first grade principal, found out and she wanted to have a little chit chat. This was not a congratulations conversation, this is a you're in trouble conversation, you're gonna have to give the money back conversation. And I knew I was really in trouble when my dad didn't pick up the phone and she started dialing my mom's number. But I'm able to look back now and identify that's probably where it all began. But at the time I probably didn't realize it. I just knew I was passionate about making this my very first sale. Afterwards, I would continue to sell on eBay. I'd buy iPhones and iPads on liquidation websites and wholesale prices and then try to flip them. And then later on, I saw an opportunity one time when I went to my dad's office. Sorry for all you Boy Scouts out there, if you guys had a stand, you guys are selling candy bars. I kid you out.
Boy Scouts.
I saw the opportunity that I could put my own stand in there, and I did such. We went to Sam's Club, we bought the candy bars, and I had my own vending machine. I knew I wanted to expand and start selling pop, so I'm going to give a little side note here. It's not always about what you know, it's about who you know. Back then, I knew someone on my baseball team, who I was friends with, and I knew his dad worked for Pepsi. So I encourage you guys all to start networking from now, going out, shaking someone's hand, introducing yourself, because it's important to know someone that you could always ask a question or maybe a favor to in the future. I was able to talk to this individual and he was able to tell me that Pepsi had this deal, he signed a contract with us now, you're able to get the vending machine for free just as long as you buy the pop from us. Being super excited and super young, I was like, sign me up. And I got my first actual vending machine around that time. And it grew. I put one at my dad's location, some of his friends' locations, as well as I asked some of my friends, their parents. And I went from 1 to 11. Mind you, I was in the 5th grade, so none of these vending machines were in walking distance. So we had to drive from each one, and the burden fell on my parents. God bless them. It just wasn't feasible. They tried to do the best thing they could. And within a year and a half, I had to call Pepsi and tell them, thank you for the opportunity, this was wonderful, but it just wasn't for me at the time. A little discouraged, but I moved on later on when I was in Bob Evans. I was sitting there with my mom, and my mom was racking through her purse, and she was trying to find a credit card, gift card. We got a credit card, not the gift card, for Bob Evans, and she forgot it at home. I'm sure you guys have all been in this situation. Being an entrepreneur and going upon my journey, I thought that there had to be a better way. So I came up with the idea to have a handheld device that could import gift cards, reward cards, as well as credit cards. It was a great idea. I got the patent pending. Around the same time, Apple came out with this app called a wallet. So it's kind of a waste, but the learning experience was priceless. I was discouraged again. I was let down, thinking I put all the time and money, almost all the profits from the vending machine into it, but I was able to see another opportunity later on when my dad would complain about the cost of business cards. I know it sounds crazy now because I don't know if anyone even uses business cards at your age, but when you get older, they're important and they're very cost effective now, but back then they used to be expensive. At the time, I thought they're just paper, so I could go downstairs and try to print them myself, and I did such. Went down to my basement and printed them out. I used my scissors and I cut them. And after a couple of times of revising them, I went to office specs about heavier cardstock and a nicer cutter, and I got something that was professional enough that my dad wanted to buy from me. Afterwards, his friends bought them for me and we expanded. We did postcards afterwards as well as brochures. And that was around the same time Vistaprint came out with their new machine that was able to bring the cost of printing down to almost nothing.
So we had that.
I know. But we had to figure we needed to diversify. I found a local printer in the area, and now we do screen printing and embroidery. We do all of the embroidery for a lot of the high schools around the area as well as screen printing, and I do a lot of the work for Walsh University. We did all of the orange shirts that you guys see here today, as well as the stickers that are on the table. And that's my journey of being an entrepreneur, the steps that it took, and all the setbacks that I had to encounter. It was my passion that helped me get through them. But enough talking about me, I hate talking about myself. I'm gonna leave on this note about another person that you guys should know. And if you don't, I wanna talk with your history professors, because then there's a problem. We know his accomplishments and his passion is unquestionable, but what most of us don't know is the difficulties that he had to overcome and how his passion helped him overcome them. Abraham Lincoln, we know, is the 16th president of the United States. We know he won the war and abolished slavery. But most of us do not know about Abraham Lincoln on his path to become president He failed 8 times in political office before he became the President of the United States. And his passion is what helped him get through those challenges. Now I'm going to hand it over to Brandon, who's going to tell you that you don't need to know your passion right now, but it's good to investigate and find out further in the future.
Thanks, Bill. Yeah, so I think that's a really cool story of Abraham Lincoln to kind of showcase that even some of the brightest among us don't find their passions immediately. You guys are getting to this awkward age where when people meet you, they say, what do you want to do with your life? And that's not a question most of us are equipped to answer. I'm up here talking to you guys today and I have no clue. But that's okay, as long as you're still putting yourself in positions to figure that out. So you have to be willing to be uncomfortable and try new things, because that's really how you're going to figure out the things that you're passionate about. And Bill and I have been lucky, we think, to have found our passions early, but we might be wrong. So I just encourage you guys to continue to try new things and be okay with failing, because we all fail. As you saw, Abraham Lincoln was, for the first 40 years of his life, a lot of people consider him a failure, and he ended up being our president. So be willing to fail, and you will find the passion that you want to do for the rest of your life eventually.
Another thing that you have put in there is you have to find the passion yourself. You can't let other people tell you what your passion is going to be. Funny little story is every Christmas I would get a stethoscope for my mom. My grandma would sew me a pair of scrubs, and somehow magically forget by the next Christmas, and I would have another pair of scrubs and another stethoscope. And it wasn't until the 4th Christmas when I had 4 pairs of scrubs and 4 stethoscopes that I kind of got to the point being like, you need to become a doctor. But I knew it wasn't for me. I knew what I wanted to do and I pursued what I wanted to do. So if your parents are pushing for one thing, it's great to consider it. But you need to search within yourself and find what your actual passion is, because it's something that you're going to be doing for the rest of your life, and you better love it.
And with that, be willing to be honest with yourself. So I mentioned to you guys I had hip surgery in my junior year of high school. And afterwards, I started shadowing the PT that I was working with to rehab, and I really enjoyed it. I loved helping people and working in the clinic. So I came here and I was a pre-PT major. Well, about 3 weeks into class, I realized we weren't doing a lot of the same things that we were doing in the clinic, and I hated it. So I had to be honest with myself that, I'm probably not going to make it for the 7 years it takes to be a PT, and now I'm a finance major. So there's nothing wrong with trying things and realizing, this sucks. But be honest with yourself. Don't try to continue to do it just because at one point you wanted to. There's nothing wrong with changing majors and changing careers. I think what it's like, average person changes their career 7 different times. So there's nothing wrong with it.
When I came here, I wanted to be a super student. I always knew I wanted to do accounting. I also figured I wanted to do finance, marketing, management as well. So I have 18 different majors. It has changed a lot since. So in the beginning, it was just testing everything out, seeing what I liked, what I enjoyed. And then I'm a senior now, so I've narrowed it down to what I'm actually going to do. But I've transitioned a lot in making my final decision.
All right, enough about us. We're going to open up the floor to questions for you guys. Dante, can you take the microphone?
We have gifts too, so make sure you raise your hand.
Yeah. Questions, anybody?
I can see everyone woke up now.
Dante. Oh. Everyone stay quiet, please. Maybe look at the question.
Okay, so when you go to college, can you have more than one major at a time?
Yes, actually you can. You're a brave student if you do it, but you are allowed to double major. There's some nice ones where some of the curriculum overlaps. So for example, marketing and graphic design, they work well together as a profession, and some of the curriculum overlaps, so it's not as much work. But there are some people that may double major in things that are completely unconnected. So if you're willing to put in the work, you can definitely do it.
Accounting and finance are another one as well. In the beginning, actually, I was going for accounting and exercise science. So I was on 2 bipolar opposites.
I saw your hand next.
Hey, this is more of a question about the betting machines. Now that you have everything settled and everything, do you think you would ever go back to betting machines, or say arcade machines or any type of that stuff, because you have your situation controlled?
Yeah, definitely. Now I kind of can look back and see the mistakes that I made. Obviously the driving was a difficulty, but there's other mistakes down the road. It is something I want to pursue again. I enjoyed it.
Let's head over here to the guy in the red polo. We'll come back to you guys. We'll try to do it. Don't worry. I see it over there. Yeah.
We're gonna make sure Dante gets some exercise.
My question is, as soon as you get a doctorate, do you have to get another doctorate if you change your passion?
I'm never gonna get a doctorate. Maybe. Dr. Berg might be able to help me better with that question.
That's a good question, but here we do have a couple doctorate programs, but they're working on a bachelor's degree. So associate's degree is 2 years, bachelor's is 4, master's is 2 after bachelor's, and doctorate's a little bit longer than that. So.
Alright, any more over in this area? You got one up here.
We're gonna get to you guys, I promise.
I'm coming, don't worry.
We wanna make sure he gets his exercise. He's on the track team.
Go ahead. Hey, quiet, please.
So, what would happen like if you don't know exactly what to do precisely?
Besides what? I'm sorry.
Like, what to do as a major? Like, what do you want to do in life?
Yeah. Well, I mean, first of all, the first question you need to ask yourself is college really the answer for you? Because there's nothing wrong with not going to college. For some people, that's the better option. But if you do decide you want to go to college, your first semester, there's nothing wrong with starting off undecided because we all do the same core curriculum classes. So you can get in there and try different things and then kind of figure out what you want to do long term after that.
That's how I found out what I wanted to do. When I started off, they intermix you in everything. So you're taking, no matter what business major or whatever science major you are, you're taking business courses for accounting, you're gonna take finance courses, marketing courses, management courses. So if you're undecided, they do a good job of making sure you kind of get a touch of everything. So when you actually get further on in your school career, you kind of know exactly what you want to do.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Let's hit the table in the back and then we're going to come back to this side of the room.
If you started schooling in one major and you wanted to switch majors because you decided that it wasn't something you wanted to do anymore, how hard would that be able to do?
Super easy. So you go and talk to your advisor and say, hey, what I'm doing, I don't like. I would love to find something that I'm more passionate about. And then they'll help you work through it and they'll show you the different majors that are available and tell you exactly what it would take to transfer. And some of the credits that you've done would actually transfer over. So everyone here needs a science class. So I took anatomy my first semester with PPT, so they worked with me and made that count for my science. And so I didn't have to take a science lesson in the business major. So the advisors will be very helpful for you. And they expect students to come in and say, hey, what I'm doing, I don't want to do anymore. So they're used to it.